Good morning, everyone. This is CH Nikita from CSC Data Science B section. Today, I cover the topic of in this presentation is the pollution degree of heavy metals to city soil pollution. The introduction topics I covered are what are heavy metals, why are heavy metals in soil, how do heavy metals affect the soil, how to reduce heavy metals from soil. The first topic is what are heavy metals. The term heavy metals refers to any metallic chemical element that has a relatively high density and is toxic or poisonous at low concentration. Means heavy metals are very high density and toxic and poisonous at low concentrations. Examples of heavy metals arsenic, aluminium, lead, mercury, cadmium. These are the examples of heavy metals which are highly toxic in the soil. How heavy metals released into the environment. Heavy metals released into atmosphere during mining, smelting and other industrial process return to the land through dry and wet deposition, discharge of wastewaters such as industrial effluents and domestic sewage and heavy metals to the environment. Why are heavy metals in soil? Metals from air pollution accumulate in the top 1 to 2 inches of soil and tend to stay put. Old orchards have more lead and arsenic in the soil because of residue from old insecticides. Soil next to by busy roads may have higher lead levels because of exhaust from now banned leaded gasoline. Heavy metals occurs naturally in soil. Although it is a natural occurring element, anthropogenic activities like mining, fossil fuel burning, and manufacturing contribute to its increased concentrations in soil. How do heavy metals affect the soil? Heavy metal exhibit toxic effect towards soil biodata by affecting key microbial process and decrease the number of activity of soil microorganisms. Heavy metals contained in rocks can enter soil environment through natural process such as meteoric, biogenic, terrestrial and volcanic process, erosion, leaching and surface winds. We can see in this picture there are normal enzyme activities and decreased enzyme activities. Decreased enzyme activities are zinc, lead, copper, arsenic and cadmium. How does heavy metals cause soil pollution? Heavy metal pollution is a serial global environmental program as it adversely affect plant growth and genetic variation. Heavy metal pollution can result in adverse effect on plant growth, soil microbial diversity and activity and apparently has a stronger impact on genetic structure. How does heavy metals affect soil pH value? A change in the soil solution pH results in a corresponding change of the dominant rendition mechanism of heavy metals in the soil. At high pH value, precipitation mechanism. Examples precipitating as hydroxides and or as carbonates dominate. Heavy metals contaminating of soil. Heavy metals constitute an ill-defined group of inorganic chemical hazards and those most commonly found at contaminated sites are lead, chromium, arsenic, zinc, cadmium, copper, mercury and nickel. Soils polluted with heavy metals have become common across the globe due to increase in geologic and anthropogenic activities. Plant growing on the soil show a reduction in growth performance and yield. Bioremediation is an effective method of treating heavy metal polluted soils. Source of heavy metals in soil. Soil in all urban areas are generally contaminated with lead, zinc, cadmium, and copper from traffic paint, and many other non specific urban sources. How do heavy metals enter into a soil and sediments? Heavy metals are distributed throughout soil and sediments components and associated with them in various ways, including absorption, ion exchange, precipitation, and completion. How to reduce heavy metals? Ex situ elimination techniques, although expensive, have the basic advantages of removing a high concentration of heavy metals from polluted soils. These conventional remediation techniques include soil washing, landfilling, and leaching, electronetic treatment, and soil implosion. Here we can see this in the picture, phyto extraction. This is the most common technique we use for to reduce heavy metals from soil, and this is the best way. Several remediation techniques such as soil replacement method, thermal desorption, chemical leaching, and electrolytic remediation are used to remedy the soil contained heavy metals recently. We can see in this picture there are industries, pesticides, rocks in earth are required to air, water, soil, and it goes to plant and it goes to birds, domestic animals and fish, and it goes to humans. This way it is contaminated. Among the agriculture sources of heavy metals, fertilizers, pesticides, and sewage sludge are most common. The toxic heavy metals vary in nature and the way of accumulation, whether in soil or plants. The most feasible for removal of heavy metals for contaminated soil. Pyroremediation is the best effective way for removal of heavy metals for contaminated soil with low and moderate heavy metal concentrations. It is eco-friendly and low cost way. Conclusion. Background knowledge of the source chemistry and potential risk of toxic heavy metals is contaminated soil is necessary for the selection of appropriate redeemable options. Remediation of soil contained by heavy metals is necessary in order to reduce the associated risk, make the land resource available for agriculture production, enhance food security, and scale down uh, land failure problems. Immobilization, soil washing, and phytoremediation are frequently listed among the best available technologies for cleaning up heavy metals contaminated soils, but have been mostly demonstrated in developed countries. These technologies are recommended for field applicability and commercialization in developing countries, also where agriculture, urbanization, and industrialization are leaving a legacy of environmental degradation. Thank you for this opportunity.